It told you to be yourself and to love what made you you. It told you to listen deeply to others, the beauty of originality in them. And through swing, the most flexible rhythm ever played in the world, it told you how to balance it taught you how to balance your individuality with the desires of the group. It told you we have a history, a depth, a tradition that requires skill and study, but demands you apply those skills to search the frontiers of your soul. It told you that innovation and creativity hold hands with the tried and true. For 30 years, I've traveled up and down this unpredictable and unruly country. I've played in elementary schools, in high schools, concert halls, parks, malls, colleges, prisons, hospitals, community centers, in parades, in cathedrals, in churches, clubs, and dives, even on the New York City subway. After almost every performance, people wait. Parents, teachers, kids, grown-up kids, they wait. And enjoying the easy formality of the occasion, they ask questions. And they all want to know the same thing. Are we together? And is everything going to be all right? And I realize that we all yearn for a new American mythology. We want to embrace one another, but we really don't know how. It goes past slogans and talking. The answer is not more education, but more substantive and more culturally rooted education. The primary the value of education should not be some competition with other countries for technological jobs, or to win the so-called science race, or to beat anyone. Our arts demand and deserve that we recognize the life we have lived and live together on this land. And this time, we need to be educated in who we are. And with the arts, education extends far outside the classroom. In a paraphrase of his 1967 classic, The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual, Harold Cruz could just have easily spoken not just to blacks, but to all Americans. He says, without a cultural identity that adequately defines itself, the American cannot even identify with the nation as a whole. He is left in the limbo of social marginality, alienated and directionless on the landscape of America, and a variegated nation not yet decided on its own identity. The fact of the matter is that Americans as a whole, we are in doubt about our nationality as well as our cultural identity. That's why so many hyphens in our country. Yes, more in doubt because we have forgotten to embrace the arts we developed over hard-fought centuries. American politics and economics are very flexible. We're learning that. And they can work in any cultural context. But boy, don't let those wigs fool you. If our political and economic system doesn't serve our cultural interests, how do we rebuild those systems when they're in distress or when they fail? We have an embarrassment of artistic riches and trust, and we just are not collecting our inheritance. You better believe Boston and Philly took Franklin's money, but our arts are of no value to us. And when you don't consider the song of yourself, you become lost. And when you're lost, you do lost things. And if you're lost long enough, you stop looking to be found. That's why we become fearful and uncertain about our way of life. In this time of redefining the American identity, who is going to teach our young the rituals of romance through dance, liberating them from a culture which separates kids and parents with phony rhetoric, sexual exploitation, and an amateurish beat that a machine can play? Who will have the courage to teach the most heroic songs and stories of what we have done all over this land and demand that the best of who we are be the national story? Who will teach the music of our country and bring races of people together in practice, not in slogan, to share our integrated national identity? Who will sing the living tale of America to our kids to counterstate marketing slogans and rescue them from the isolation of technological gadgets? As we rebuild our dismantled arts education piece by piece in response to the lack of culture and integrity we see in our way of life, let us teach our kids how to be free. Lyndon Johnson, in addressing civil rights, said, "So, it is the glorious opportunity of this generation to end the one huge wrong of the American nation and, in doing so, to find America for ourselves with the same immense thrill of discovery which gripped those who first began to realize that here at last was a home for freedom." And that generation did what it could to make America the frontier of progressive living in the world. Now the challenge of this generation is to find the frontier of our collective souls. And though it is a soul with a history of slavery and injustice and struggle, it is also a soul with freedom and striving and triumph. And you can't get past the truth of yourself. It's always there because it was there and it is there. And when you acknowledge that truth, you understand it's not something you have to hide, but something to proudly show, because where you come from ain't where you're going. But if you don't know where you've been, you might just end up back where you started or further back. And as we forward our agendas for all the different things we're interested in doing in the arts, let's remember that there's only one cause. And whether that cause is expressed in artists visiting schools or going to museum trips, arts curricula, master classes, community bands, artist diplomas, swing dance competitions, the agenda is larger than our individual agendas. We need to look in our hand to find the key we've been searching for. It's what the Constitution started. Congo Square ratified. The Civil War sealed. The repeal of Reconstruction tested. Ellis Island co-signed. The Depression matured. 2 world wars proved. The Civil Rights Movement affirmed. Vietnam and Iraq sobered. And now is the time to realize this is our story. This is our song. If well sung, it tells us who we are and where we belong. And what is in those songs and the way we sing them, it's all you know. It's all you need to know. And it's all you will ever need to know. Thank you. Dan Nimmer on the piano, Carlos Enriquez on the bass, Ali Jackson on the drums, Victor Goins on the clarinet and the tenor saxophone. Thank you all very, very much. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you.